In this video, Eamon and I are going to share some golden nuggets to be able to scale your creative agency to 30 grand a month or even further. And you can really just apply this advice for getting your first few clients or to scaling. So I really hope you're going to enjoy. I brought him on specifically for this reason. He runs a really successful YouTube agency as well. So it's going to be fun. Also, if you are someone who is either a freelancer who's trying to grow further, or you are a creative agency owner stuck below 10 grand a month and want to get to 10, 20, or even 30 grand a month with your business, we might be able to help you with Greg at Grow Creative. So go ahead and click the link below this video to apply, and we'll talk to you, see whether you would be a good fit. And if you are, we'll make you an offer. If you are not, we'll tell you that as well. So without any further ado, hope you enjoy this video filled with value. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a really special guest on here, and he's one of the, I think, one of the guys who are just really killing it in this YouTube agency space, Eamon. So Eamon, thank you so much for taking the time and hopping on here to hopefully throw some gems for everyone.
Yep, thanks for having me on, bro.
Yeah, so could you give everyone like a quick brief intro on basically like, you know, what does your agency do, when you started it, and kind of like who you target, who you help with your service?
Yep, so basically we started the agency on November 25th, 2022. So it's not even been a year yet. And then in terms of who we work with high ticket B2B businesses and also B2C coaches who are high ticket enough and like have good lifetime value, because that's usually a teller of like, okay, can they afford your service? Will they see an ROI, etc.? And then we also make sure that they have case studies, because we use those in like the whole marketing process. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of what we do for them, initially we were a short form content agency, and then we scaled up to 8 clients. And then in February, we were like, okay, I don't want to do short form content anymore. There's like a lot of things people don't talk about online about why it's not really a good business model. So then we switched towards more focusing on long form content, video sales letters, funnels, and like overall just making a business more money, because that's what they want to pay you for at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. So that's really cool. And I want to ask, how do you define high ticket though? Because you said, you know, it needs to be high ticket enough that they have good lifetime value, and you know, that it's a good teller usually whether it will do well or not on YouTube. But yeah, how do you define high ticket? Is it 5K, 10K, 15K? Like, how do you view it personally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's preferably over 5K sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But if like their ticket price is 3K and they get like a lot of sales and they're really popping, then like it's fine. But usually preferably over 5K sort of thing.
Okay, cool. And roughly like how many clients do you have right now for this service, and like what is your average like ticket price, just to give people a little bit of context? You don't have to give exact numbers, of course, but
yeah, so at the moment we have 15 active clients, and then in our prime we had 18, but I kind of cut some down. And then in terms of our ticket price, it really ranges between 2.5K to 6K a month. There's like a pretty big range, because a lot of the times when I get on a call with someone, I try and figure out what they need and I give them a slightly customized package, but most of the time it's like 2.5 to 6K a month.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, I think that's actually like, you know, especially the 6K clients, like that's definitely on the higher end of the market when it comes to, you know, just kind of like people who provide editing, thumbnails, this SEO, this kind of stuff. So could you give an example of like, what do I actually get? You know, if I were to pay you like 6 grand a month, how is your service, or how is your agency kind of different from everybody else, you know, and what pretty much everybody else is doing?
Yeah, great question. Basically for the 6K a month client, what we do is we're doing 30 short form videos a month plus like 4 long form videos sort of thing, sometimes a little bit more. And then we're doing like ideation, scripting, editing, thumbnail, SEO, posting. So it's basically like he gets everything and then he just has to record. But then the funny thing is about this client is like he likes scripting the stuff himself, because he's like a copywriter kind of dude, and he doesn't like it when people write for him. So mainly what we do for him is just like the editing and like the whole post-production process, which is funny because he pays the most, but like we're just doing post-production. Some of my other clients who pay less, it's like we're doing like the whole thing.
Cool. Does I have a idea about who it might be. He might be pretty popular on Twitter, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And starts with a C.
No. It's
No?
it. Yeah, I'll just say who it is. It's Dakota Robertson.
Oh,
He has
cool.
like
I thought
he
it
has
was
like
Mason.
oh
Michael
Mason.
Mason.
No, no, not him.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's okay, so that's really cool. And so for something like that, like when it comes to actually, pricing these offers, like how do you personally go around like coming up with a price? Is there, because a lot of people they charge just like randomly pretty much. A lot of people charge like per video. A lot of people charge also like maybe a percentage of profits they bring in. So what is your thought process? Like how do you actually go about kind of like coming up with your price points? That's one thing I wanted to ask. And also, before I would forget it, I want to ask also on the scripting side of things. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with when they want to offer it as a done for you service, because it's like, do you just give bullet points when you do scripts for clients, or do you like actually create like outline scripts, kind of like sentence by sentence? I'd love to hear your thoughts on these two questions.
Yeah, so I'll hit the scripting one first. Basically, what we do is like you can't script out something word for word because it's just awkward for the client to read it. It's in your words, you're putting words in their mouth. So, what you have to do instead is more like rather than positioning it as a script, it should be like a framework. So, it's like you can still give them the hook word for word and then say, the hook is really important. I know what works in the market, like to get views and money, sort of thing. So you can give them the hook word for word, and then the body usually more like bullet points, framework, maybe some like highlighted text that's like giving advice, like, oh, don't stay on this point too long, etc. And then like the outro, you can do word for word as well.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And what was the other part of your question?
The other part of the question was how do you actually come up with the pricing and deliverables of your offers? Because, like for a lot of people, I guess this is more of a different way of looking at the same question, because like a lot of people when they would hear, okay, it's $6,000 a month and they only get 4 videos and daily short form, like if they were to, break that down, that's like 1.5K per edit on the long form videos if we don't count the shorts, which is obviously like sounds like a lot. But I do think, and I tell this all the time to people, that it's about how you frame your service as well. Like if you just say, oh, we edit videos for you, that's not nearly as intriguing, and it doesn't convey the value of what you're doing as well as if you say, let's say that, hey, we help you create these sales assets for your business, right? That can help you generate appointments on autopilot with your ideal prospects, right? So I guess what I'm trying to ask is like, how do you come up with your prices and the deliverables? Like how do they correlate? Like what's the difference between a $3,000 client and a $6,000 client? What are the main things that change your pricing? And then also, how do you actually frame it? Like, what are I'm obviously not asking you to like give away every little secret, but like, do you have any advice for people who are having struggles with conveying the value of everything that they are doing? They don't really know how to actually communicate their service in a way where people are willing to pay those like higher end prices for it.
Yeah, basically what's happening there is it's like a sales and communication problem where just like exactly what you said, it's like the literal difference is like, are you a video editor or are you like a marketer, right? Who's like making these sales assets and actually like trying to make the business more money, right? And like I didn't start by charging these prices. That's one thing I'll go into as well, and then I'll get into the deliverables and other part of your question is, initially when I started out, like I did like 90 shorts per month and 4 long form videos for 2K a month, which is like, that is a lot of work for at that price. Yeah. And I was doing like the scripting too. It was like the whole thing. So that's like a lot of work, but I had no case studies, right? So I kind of had to get my foot in the door somehow. And like, cause there's so many content agencies now, especially like a couple months back now. I think it's like it's getting better. There's not too much competition, but like you need to find a way to stand out from your competition. So at that time, it was literally just giving more content, but that doesn't work now. Now what it is just like you said, you need to position it as like sales assets that'll grow your business, but
and
like
quality.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's another thing. Like that, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but like, I think that's another reason why competition is a little better now is because people realize like, oh shit, YouTube is actually pretty damn hard to learn and actually be good at it so that you can get results for clients. It's not like a instantly learnable thing like short form videos, you know?
Yeah, and like for content agencies, the problem is like they don't actually know what they're doing. Like they're basically like just video editors who maybe learned how to do some SEO and like scripting, but they don't really know like what makes a customer buy. What does the customer journey look like? You know, what are they doing before a sales call? Are they watching your YouTube videos? You know, what kind of videos should we make to boost people's close rate? Like they're not really thinking like end to end. How is this like YouTube video or short form video really going into like, or how is it affecting the customer journey, right? So instead of thinking, hey, I'm a video editor, and like you kind of position it in a way of like, oh, I'll make you 4 YouTube videos per month. It's like, okay, obviously they're just going to divide your retainer by 4 and go like, oh, you're charging $875 per video. It's like, I can go get a freelancer who'll do it for like $50 a video, right? So what you need to do instead is be like, I'm going to make you like 4 YouTube videos, you know, 30 shorts, and then it's going to get you this direct ROI. And then you could even spin like a guarantee on it. So like I have a guarantee where it's like, I'll get you 10 to 30 qualified calls per month or you don't pay. So like already right off the bat, they know I'm like trying to make them more money. So it's like, and I'm putting some, I don't know how to say it, but like I'm risking my money. So it's like it's showing that like I'm confident.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's another great question to ask is how do you actually go about measuring your like the results that you bring to them on top of what they already have? Do you use Hyros for clients, like print tracking? What do you use? Because I think it's kind of tricky and difficult to actually measure numbers when it comes to organic. Because yeah, you can create like a new Calendly, you know, application for everyone, but it's just like clunky. So what is your process behind it?
Yeah, this is like a huge problem because also a lot of the time it's like you can't directly attribute stuff because maybe they'll watch something on YouTube and then they'll book a call through Twitter. Yeah. But to answer your question, like our best clients, they have Hyros already because they're usually like running ads and doing other stuff. So then it just like boom, integrate into Hyros. But for some of our other clients who don't want to buy Hyros, it's like a bit on the higher end in terms of price. Usually we just use like Calendly. We're just like, where did you find me? And it's like Twitter, YouTube, ads, etc. And then that just like it gets the job done.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much same thing we've done as well for like longest. And what about this is something like I personally, you know, thought a lot about as well. Is what do you think about this? Like when you say we get 10 to 30 appointments, to some people that might seem like a lot, but also if you are going for the higher end of the market who are making 50, 100, 200 grand a month already, who can pay you 5-6 grand a month for these kind of services, to them they might be getting that every day or every other day, right? So to them it doesn't actually sound like a great guarantee. So what are your thoughts behind coming up with a guarantee, especially if it's numbers based? Because I do agree that if you have some sort of a number like claim or, you know, number backing up your offer, then it definitely helps with conversion, especially if you don't have case studies. But how did you personally come up with that number? What are your thoughts about it? Because I think it can be interpreted like very differently based on where the prospect is at with their business journey.
100%. So what I did, this is something my coach told me to do, is like one day when I was trying to come up with a guarantee, like I just looked at, okay, how many calls am I getting for my clients? It's like a pretty big range. Some get 10 calls, some get 30 calls, etc. So I just put in my headline, it's like, I'll get you 10 to 30 calls per month. And then what happens is, obviously I can't get 10 to 30 calls for everyone. Some people are starting from like 0 subscribers and like 0 following anywhere, or other reasons why they can't get that number. So what we do is like once they hop on the call, I like at some point in the call, I just go like, okay, full transparency. I know on my website it said you'll get 10 to 30 qualified calls per month, but for you, because of XYZ reason, like we could probably get you like 5 to 7 calls. And then maybe after certain month, like February, you'll be at like 9 calls a month, etc. So I just like lay it out fully transparent, like before I even get into like the pricing, anything like that.
So you never had to refund someone because you didn't get them enough appointments?
Nope, I've never had to refund anybody. Like I've refunded someone one time where I forgot to cancel their Stripe subscription, but that's like something else.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think that's some good advice to people on the offers. And just want to highlight that you said that you basically have this 360 approach as well with your offer, where you just eat up the complexity of the customer, right? Like you eat up all their problems and just try to really like build this out for them, have them do as little as possible, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much, because recording content, like it's a chore, right? Like nobody wants to do it. So really, if you want to stand out from the competition, it's like you have to do everything. But then comes another problem where you can't just jump in the market and try and do everything at once. Like it's not gonna it's gonna be too much to take on at once. So like for example, when I started, it was short form, and then we added long form content because it's not that different, and then added VSLs, learn about like funnels, stuff like that. And then, yeah, so really you want to kind of take things one step at a time and then go from there.
Yeah, and also I think it's super important to be able to innovate. I think that's something you did really well as well. Is first the shorts were working really well. You were getting clients for it, but then you saw it kind of slowed down. You saw that the market was shifting. So I think that's really like what separates someone who's going to stand the test of time from someone who just kind of is a newbie and just got lucky with a good offer in the beginning, because you will need to shift your offer. You will need to be able to like adjust to however the market is changing. And I think I love this saying. I think it's said by one of my good friends, Charlie, that niches don't saturate, but offers do, right? So like a niche, it doesn't get saturated. Like if you're working for chiropractors, whatever, dentists or YouTubers, the niches don't saturate. It's just that offers do. So you need to be able to innovate, in my opinion, which you did really well. So
Yeah.
talking about getting them all these videos, I want to talk a little bit about finding talent and paying talent. So how did you first did you already have the skills of editing when you first started this business and just do it yourself first and then hired editors? And if you did, how did you go about finding editors? How did you train them and build up a team? Because you must have like quite a lot of people at this point to be able to handle 15 clients in a month.
Yeah, great question. So pretty much I already knew how to edit before starting the agency. So I actually started editing in like 2014 because I had my own YouTube channel. I was just doing gaming videos though. So I learned like Vegas Pro, and then eventually I moved to Premiere, that sort of thing. Yeah. So then once I started the agency, it was like, okay, the reason why I started it is because the main like time consuming part is the editing. So then like I just started the agency through there. And then I was actually the one who, I want to say this real quick, I was actually the one who created the I'll make you 60 shorts using 2 hours of your time offer. Me and like, I was in a coaching program, me and the coach, we like made it together. And then that's why I like scaled so hard. But at one point, too many people took it. But I'm going off track now.
No, that's good story.
Yeah.
So getting talent. Yeah.
Yeah, getting talent. So basically I was editing myself, and then kind of like really like 2 clients in, I was like, okay, screw it. I'll like find a freelancer who wants to work like project based. So in terms of how I found them, it was just inbound through Twitter, because I was posting a lot on Twitter. It's one of my main client acquisition methods, along with YouTube and referrals. So basically he DM'd me, and I always just get people DMing me asking to work with me. And then I was like, okay, cool. What's your pricing? Made sure it made sense with like the margin and stuff. And then I told him like, clear expectations. I was like, okay, you're going to get, for this first month, really probably like 30 short form videos a month. And then at the rate that we're currently scaling though, and what I see in the future, like you could easily be making X amount per month by this month. And like, I really laid out the expectations nice and transparent. And then from there, like, yeah, he used to make not that much because he was only doing 30 shorts. And then now he's like a full-time, he just has like a retainer, and he's living life. And then, so that was one team member. I hired them around like 5K a month, let's say. And then kind of got the second team member around like 10K, around there. And then, because sometimes when you see talent that's like really good, or someone who, they're a player, like they really like working, that sort of thing, they're proactive, it's like you have to scoop them up, because like otherwise, otherwise they're going to work for someone else. So I found someone like that Well, he was actually a referral from my first employee, so, or team member. I don't really like saying employee. So one great way to get team members is referrals, because, you know, if one person's working with you, they're really good. It's like, okay, they probably know like 2 or 3 other people. And conveniently, my first team member, he's in like some sort of community, kind of like a Discord with like a ton of editors. So he was able to bring me that one team member, and then we tried to bring others, but it didn't work out. So I mainly get team members through inbound and then referrals. Yeah.
Cool. And how do you go? Because I think finding short form editors, I think it's a lot easier than finding good long form editors. That's been my experience. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, because also what I found is a lot of times people who can edit long form, they might not know like how to do it specifically for YouTube, or if they do, like they might be like too expensive, so your margin gets like kind of crashed. Or you kind of have to train them up, is what I found a lot of times. Like teach them the structure, teach them, you know, how to do this, a certain style that's trending right now. And even finding thumbnail editors is not that easy, I think, if you want to find like really good ones. So what is your, like, I think it's kind of the same principle there, where you will find someone who has the skills, like knows how to technically execute, you know, well, good looking edits and make it look like cool. But then you kind of have to sometimes, I think, intervene and like teach them like the actual like thought process behind how they should edit it, what should they cut out, like how can they actually make it in a way where it will help the businesses make more money, right? So did you have to do any like training with your editors, and if yes, like what is your protocol, or like do you have some sort of like internal trainings that you created for them? What are your thoughts on it? Because I think that's kind of like ties in together when you start scaling. Like you need to have some systems, I think, after like 8 clients, like otherwise like things just fucking like crumble. So what was your thought process behind those things?
Yeah, so to address the first point, it's definitely harder to find long form editors than short form. What's happening right now is kind of like what I did. A lot of short form editors are realizing like long form is more in demand right now. So it's basically like a short form editor editing a long form video, and you can like instantly tell because they'll just do
too many
like,
text.
Yeah, they'll just do text. They'll just do like a irrelevant B-roll, and then like that's it, right?
And sound effects, overkill.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's too much. So really, you need to find someone who can like turn a piece of raw footage into like a movie that feels like well connected and like that sort of thing. And then what you need to convey to the editor is that like, look, we're editing not just to edit and add stuff, we're editing to increase retention. So you have to make sure it like flows from one point to the next very nice. And then in terms of our onboarding and training editors, so I was pretty lucky. Like the first 2 team members I got, I didn't really have to like train them in terms of like, hopping in Premiere, like show them the timeline, stuff like that. But rather it was more like just giving them feedback every time they submitted a video. And I also had like,
kind of what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then we also had like a swipe file of like what good videos look like. So now in our onboarding, it's like, I really had to systemize the onboarding because as you scale an agency, you become like a HR firm. You're always hiring. So I have like a Trello board where it's like when I hire a new editor, it's like, okay, step 1, watch these videos. It's like, what's my company? And then step 2, you'll watch these, get you like access to Google Drive, your new TickScale Gmail account, etc. And then like step 3 is like, okay, this is what our like a swipe file of good edited videos look like. And then here's an editing course. So for the course, like I actually didn't, we're currently building out an internal editing course for our team. It is super time consuming though. So just as like a band-aid for the time being, I bought somebody else's course and then I'm just training my editors with that. And then that's kind of like what the onboarding looks like, sort of thing.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, I'm not saying this to like plug our coaching program, but we do have a coaching program called Grow Creatives. And yeah, we literally, where we basically help people with like content agencies, and we literally built out like an editor training course inside of that program so people can like give it to their editors, because it's so time consuming, like you said, to actually build out something good like that for internal training. So yeah, okay, that's definitely like really good information. And in terms of so it's been like what you said is it's been like communities and referrals kind of, right?
Yeah, to get new team members, referrals, inbound, and also like looking in like Discord groups.
Cool. I also think there is, I want to kind of pivot to personal branding, because I know you also have your own YouTube channel, which by the way, I will link that down below for anyone interested. I think it's also like a big life hack if you build your personal brand for hiring as well, because if you have your own personal brand, you will have a lot more quality people wanting to work with you, because people will just naturally find you who really resonate with your kind of message, your character, all of that stuff. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about personal branding, the importance of that. I know you are active on YouTube and Twitter. So how many clients do you get from those platforms, or like meetings? And have you found like what kind of benefits you found from it? How do you manage it? Do you just have your team do your videos, or what's the deal there? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so for personal branding, like you said, it's like a huge plus, because especially when you're selling like some sort of social media based service, whether it's video or picture posts, it's like people are going to check like, are you practicing what you preach? Are you making YouTube videos? Or do you have a VSL? Do you have a funnel, etc.? So it's really important you make content. And then the best places right now to really build up your brand is like 100% YouTube, because it's going to be around forever. And like every time you make a video, it lasts forever. People will always find it as long as you SEO optimize it. And then for Twitter is really good because like me and Vince were saying before we hit record, there's this one corner of Twitter called Money Twitter. I hate saying that. It sounds a little bit cringe, but essentially,
yeah, it's like douchey.
yeah, essentially it's just like this corner of Twitter where maybe there's like 100,000 people. It's maybe even smaller than that.
Probably
and
less,
then
yeah.
We're all just like making money, starting agencies, like getting clients, making content, getting inbound leads. So like a lot of my sales calls come from inbound. So it's like our split is like 33% YouTube, 33% Twitter, or maybe like slightly more on Twitter. And then like the rest is like referrals and networking. So on Twitter, the main thing is like you just need to show up every day, reply to people, make tweets, make threads. But really when you start out from zero, you need to focus on just replying to people, because like you can hijack somebody else's engagement sort of thing. Because if you make a tweet, you'll get like 10 impressions, like nobody's going to see it. But if you do a reply, like you can get like 50K views on that, right? So that's kind of the Twitter growth strategy, little gold nugget there. And then for YouTube, it's like, YouTube's just a slow game. You just have to keep posting, keep iterating, and like see what works. And yeah, I mean, Vince's channel is like a million times bigger than mine, so he'll speak more better about how to grow a YouTube channel. But
no, I mean, it's same thing. Just to be honest, it's just like showing up. And also I think one thing is like make videos on things people actually watch. And then once something works, just do it over and over again. Like make the same video pretty much, and it's going to continue to do well. And like that's been like, if I were to like really distill it down, like my strategy pretty much. But yeah, I think also another thing that's great about Money Twitter is like there's actually a lot of high earners there, like people who actually make a lot of money. I think like there's kind of this inside joke there that people there think the minimum wage is like 100 grand a month.
yeah,
like pretty much whatever you make, if you think you're doing well, you will feel poor, because you'll see some guys like just fucking killing it who you never even heard about, and they are doing like $1 million a month or something. So it's a good place also, I think, to find clients for sure. But what was it like in the beginning? Like when you were just starting out, did you mainly focus on content creation, so like building your brand and kind of like inbound marketing, or were you focusing on outbound in the beginning with emails or Instagram DMs or Loom videos or anything like that? Like was it like a gradual transition over time to the point where now you barely do any outbound?
Yeah, it was 100% a gradual transition. So when you start out, it's like you can't just think inbound leads are going to come in. It takes a while to really be consistent. So what you need to do is do both simultaneously at the start, because when you're sending outbound, people are checking your profile. You don't even need that many followers. You just have to like show that you're a human being, have your face on there, be active, etc. So when I started out, I was just sending free short form videos to people until like 4 a.m. I'd go to sleep and then wake up at like 7 a.m. and go to school sort of thing. So I was doing that for a while. So really just sending like 5 shorts per day, sending free work, sending cold DMs to people with no free video, that sort of thing. And then eventually, really not until like April, I was pretty much able to stop outbound. We started doing cold email again, and that's working. But I rarely send cold DMs anymore. It's usually like warm, hyper personalized, etc. Because on Twitter, like if you send a bad DM, like you'll get like screenshotted and exposed. So it forces you to like really innovate and think about what you send.
Yeah, last time I saw like a follow up where someone was like sent like a half naked shirt like follow up, and they got screenshotted. It was actually kind of funny, and I guess it worked. But yeah, that's very true. I think I last but not least, I really want to hammer down on this point where you said in the beginning you were sending out free videos. So this is something most people are simply not willing to do. Let's be real. And I think this is the reason why most people aren't making as much money as you are and aren't seeing as much success as you do with your agency. Because it's just like this mentality thing, right? Like if you don't have anything to prove or anything to show, if you don't have any case studies, if you don't have like a brand, like you literally don't have anything, why are you not going to do some free work and lead with free value? Like you're so much more likely to get someone to actually get back to you and give you a chance. Like it's just a completely different interaction. Even with me, like I get a lot of people trying to sell me shit, right? If someone sends me a 7-day email campaign that they wrote out for me and then try to pitch me on email marketing versus just like say like, hey Vince, or like even like misspell my name and just like it's clearly just a shitty automated email, like I'm so much more likely to respond to that. So in the beginning, I think it's a great strategy to just give out free stuff. And this is what I did as well in the beginning when I was just starting out like a few years ago. I would literally also just send out free stuff to people who I thought would maybe like post those videos. And then if they posted my free clip, then I could show it as like part of my portfolio, reaching out to other people. So even if they don't sign as a client, I'm still getting benefit from making free content for them, and they are also more likely to get back. So yeah, do you have any, I guess, like tips on sending out free shit, or yeah, I'm guessing you probably agree with this, right?
I 100% agree with everything you said. Like that's how I got my start. It was just like sending free short form videos. And then I even still send free work to this day. I do it slightly different though, where like, with a long form video, it's like, it's not like short form where you can repurpose someone's long form to short form. So you need to get them to record something brand new. So it's like, I'll shoot them over a message. I'll be like, hey, like I see you're not on YouTube sort of thing. Like, would you be down like just to make a free YouTube video? Like I just say that, keep it super simple, straight to the point. And then maybe I send a second message right after and I go like, yeah, like no strings attached. Like if you don't want to work with me after, like it's cool. I'm kind of just trying to get stuff for my portfolio. You just say that. Even though I already have like a good portfolio, you can still just lead with that. So yeah, like free work, I still do free work to this day. And I really think that's a big point or big reason why I am where I am. Because just like you said, like nobody wants to do free work. So that's how you differentiate yourself.
So you even actively pretty much, like I'm guessing you're not the one editing those free videos you guys are sending out, right? So you're pretty much willing to actively lose money because you spend that money on editors to send people those freebies because you know it will come back to you in the future tenfold, right?
Yeah, because if you know...
Yeah, it's so smart.
Yeah, if you know like your customer lifetime value, like I know on average somebody who stays with me, like they'll give me 15 grand. It's like, I'm willing to spend like 3K to acquire you. It's like, I don't care. So it's like, if I have to send like, 10 free videos, like it's like, I'm willing to do it sort of thing.
So I think that actually just gives me like one last question I really want to go into is like, how do you, because it's obviously you just cannot just shoot like a shotgun method if you're going to make free videos for people. Like you just can't just send it out to everyone because otherwise you will waste a ton of money or time and effort if you are doing it yourself. So what are your like key criterias that you look at? Like how do you define, or how do you find someone who you will make a free video for? Like what does that person need to fit in terms of description to qualify for that level of like, qualified prospect that you would actually go out of your way and spend money on sending them a free video?
The person has to be like an actual perfect fit, because I'm super picky nowadays about who you work with or who I work with. And your subscribers are going to realize this too once they start scaling their agencies. It's like if you pick clients that aren't the best fit, especially with content, you're seeing their videos every day. It's like it gets really annoying. So when I do free work, it's like I make sure, okay, this is someone I really want to work with and I know for a fact I can get them results. Super specific about it. It's like a sniper. And then like I hit them up. I'm like, hey, let's do a free video. In terms of what I'm looking for, to answer your question, do they have case studies? Do they preferably already have some sort of following, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc.? And then just like, are they like good on camera sort of thing? Are they like a talkative person? And then, yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Cool. That's so good. I think we covered a lot of good stuff. So I really appreciate you coming on to share all these. I guess like I also wanted to ask you, like, what do you think is like next for you? Where do you live, by the way? Like, where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Vancouver, Canada, so on the West Coast, but I moved to Montreal, so now I'm all the way on the East Coast. And
Cool.
yeah, low-key looking at like moving out sort of thing. And in terms of what's next, really just like keep scaling what's working, smoothing out operations, and then maybe go into like making ad creative sort of thing as well as like an add-on.
Got it. And where are you looking at moving out? Like, what's in your head?
Yeah, I'm
Are
looking
you
at
like looking at some other countries or just instead of Canada?
yeah, I'm looking at Tampa, Florida, because a lot of my clients are in Tampa and like I have a decent network there. So like I'm thinking, okay, I could probably like shoot videos in person sort of thing. It won't be too scalable, but like it'll look really good for the portfolio. So I'm looking at that.
No, I mean, I think you can also go with the route of like super high ticket and less clients. Because
Yeah.
if you do in person as well, you could probably charge like on the highest end like 15 grand a month or something like that. And if you build out like a really good production team, you can get it done in a day, like Hormozy level videos, whatever. You could probably get it up to 150 grand a month, I would say, and just like have like only your perfect fit clients, like 10 of them. I think it's doable, but that's definitely exciting. And yeah, if I were to move into the US somewhere, I would definitely go Florida as well. It's like, I think it's the only livable state probably based on like everything on it I've seen. But cool. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have anything else you want to kind of share? Any like last piece of advice? Anything you want to shout out as well? Like I said, I will leave your channel and Instagram below. But yeah, anything really you want to end off?
Yeah. I'll leave them with one last piece of advice where like to get results, especially if you're starting from zero, it's like you really have to put an insane amount of work to make things work. It's like when you're riding a bike, it's like it's hard to pedal it at first for the first like 5 seconds and then it's smooth. It's like same thing with an agency. You have to pump like insane amounts of volume for it to work. So sometimes I still push like 12, 14-hour days kind of thing. But yeah, just want to say that some people think it's easy, but if you stay consistent, like the method to get clients and scale is simple, but it's like, it's not easy because it's like mental sort of thing.
So you don't have any sort of secret special outreach method or a message that you use to get all these clients?
Yeah,
Is
nothing
that what you're
special.
saying?
Yeah,
Oh man,
special.
damn! I wish I was gonna get that in this interview. Wow.
But yeah, and like Vince said, like all my links will be in the description and yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think if you guys appreciate it, enjoyed it, drop like a comment down below saying thanks, amen. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And again, thank you so much for coming on.
Yep, thanks for having me.